All right, my friends, we are back. It is actually, oh boy, March 7th, 2019. It's been about a week since we posted a video, but we are back and we are tracking Winter Storm Tyler, which is beginning to progress its way across the Central Plains. Expected to be a pretty big storm, guys, but it's going to be a northern storm. The southern part of the country is going to be completely drenched in rain, and when I say drenched, I mean flooding to the point where some areas that aren't flooded yet, that haven't been flooded, will begin to flood. And we are looking at rivers, we're looking at creeks and lakes, anything, any sort of water bodies are going to be at risk anywhere from basically West Texas across the entire Ohio River Valley up into the Northeast, specifically this area right here where you see some of these higher highlighted red colors. And we're going to get into exactly why this is happening and also why we have a winter storm above that. It's two separate systems, guys, just like we've been dealing with for most of the winter. We have a big system that comes up from the north by Alaska, rolls its way down, and then we get our ground zero area right here. That's usually where that separate set of moisture comes up through the Baja, Southern California. Ground zero, and that's when our winter storms begin to bloom, especially this time of year, mostly over the Dakotas and Minnesota and Iowa, Great Lakes, Northeast. Not so much down in the southern states at this time of year. But then again, we've been seeing things that we haven't seen in a long time. So, with that said, guys, here are the current temperatures, and this is going to play a very big part in why we are not going to see snow in the southern states for once. California, you're still getting smashed with moisture nonstop. The Sierra Nevada mountains still getting hammered with snow. I see no end in sight as far as the next couple weeks, at least as far as that goes. We have two major systems also on their way after these two storms. So keep in mind, these are two systems we're dealing with that are eventually going to become Winter Storm Tyler and a big moisture event for the southern states. And like I said, we're talking major flooding. We had that devastating tornado in southeast Alabama last weekend, and we're looking at a very similar situation that is going to take place, at least according to weather.com. This is the area of which they are highlighting as the tornado watch area for the upcoming days. And this is actually for Saturday. The warnings are going to be a little bit in this area before that. I'm getting into that in a separate video because I want to do this step by step. But because we haven't talked in so long, I want to go over exactly what's going on as a whole, and then I'm going to break it down for you guys individually in different videos. So let's take a look at this storm on Tropical Tidbits real quick. This is our first frame here. You can see it says March 10th. That doesn't seem right, does it? March 10th. This is for the 9th. So they're jumping ahead a little bit here. In fact, let's go down to the 7th, and then we'll reset this for March 8th, and we should get some more accurate data there. All right, so you can still see it says March 10th there, but now we're able to back up to current time. So here we go. So current time is right now. It doesn't look like much. That's because this storm is currently forming as we speak. We see a little bit of those blues and the moisture starting to dump its way over. High pressure, low pressure, two separate systems, guys. One's going to force the other one way. The other's going to force the other way. That's how this works, and the jet stream involved as well. As we move forward into tomorrow, which is Friday, you can see here that low pressure begins to get those circles around it. We always look for those lines. The tighter these lines, the higher the winds, the more blizzard conditions we will see up in the Dakotas. And then, as we talked about, Minnesota and Iowa will begin to see snow from this storm as well. Colorado, I want to mention before I forget, very used to seeing snow, but there are things going on in Colorado, guys, that they have never seen before as far as types of avalanches, certain areas with road closures due to ice breaking. So you get these massive cold temperatures and everything freezes, and then in certain areas of Colorado that are not used to getting warm temperatures around this time of year, they get warm temperatures, you get melting ice, and then you get basically they're called ice slides rather than mudslides like we see in California based on the amount of saturation they've been getting. So we're seeing all these very unique situations happening because of the unique weather, hashtag bipolar weather, I mean, it's starting to make more and more sense to me. I don't know about you guys, but let's move forward. Now we can see just in one frame alone, we go from light blue colors up here, light snow dustings. We start to see our moisture down in the low pressure area by northern Texas. One frame later, we're talking 6 hours. Look how much this expands down here, guys. And this is why this is such a warning, basically, to the southeastern states, because once we cross that threshold of the middle of the U.S., basically Texas and to the right, and anything from Illinois, Iowa, Illinois, and then going through basically South Pennsylvania, anything south will be saturated in rain. Anything to the north, it's looking like snow. And I know that seems like a broad forecast, but guys, that is what they are giving us. And you see this little strip here too. You do not want to forget about that. That is considered severe weather. That's considered the Ohio River Valley. That is considered tornado territory. And especially, again, I'm going to repeat this. That tornado in Alabama was a big one. And since March 3rd, actually, we've had 39 touchdown tornadoes, which is a high number for this time of year. So we got to understand, as we're going into spring, somewhat, we still are in those cold months of winter. We're going to start seeing the changeover. We're going to see thunderstorms and strong storms of that nature down in the south. We're still going to see the snow up in the north, but now we're going to start seeing more and more of these tornadoes. And we've been talking about tornadoes because of Florida and the El Nino situation. Luckily, that has not been what we thought it was. We have not seen too many tornadoes in Florida, which is a good thing. The reason we would have even seen them is because of the low dip in the jet stream caused by the El Nino. But it seems like the brunt of the tornado season thus far has been where it's supposed to be, and that is the Tornado Alley, Tornado Valley. That's where we see this right here. But again, guys, this low pressure system here concerns me because we got tight rings. We have a very, very small margin between the snow and the rain. So these areas up here, basically right in the middle of Iowa, are going to be a mess. It's going to be a messy, messy few days. And beyond that even, guys, because once this thing passes and gets to the northeast, we have another one right behind it. So we got to remember this. This is a lot of moisture coming in, guys. And remember, it's all coming in. We have two separate areas. We have Washington and Oregon, and then we have California. And California is one of those areas where it's dry desert. It absorbs that water, and then we have mudslides. It's not like Florida where it's sand and that water is absorbed and then basically leaks back out into the ocean. So Florida and California are two separate worlds. Florida is made for the water. California, unfortunately, is not unless you're right on the beach. So California has just been getting devastated this year and beyond. So I don't want to go too far ahead in this with the moisture. Basically, long story short is we have a lot of rain coming, guys, and these are not small storms either. These are pretty dramatic storms. Lots of moisture, lots of thunder and lightning, especially as these temperatures we're looking at are starting to get higher in the south. You're going to start seeing stronger storms down here, and that's how this works, guys. We get into tornado season, we get into spring, and then guess what? Welcome back, hurricane season 2019. And now we're going to be going on year 3 of that, at least on this channel. So, all right, let's wrap this up, guys. I've had you here long enough. I just missed talking to you, so I felt like talking for a while. Me and Caroline miss you guys so much. For those of you interested, we are big WWE fans, and you can like that or not, but we have a lot of cool footage from this past Thursday. Caroline and I went to SmackDown in Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania. We got to watch the show. We got a special surprise at the end of it that a lot of people got to miss. So if you want to check out our Instagram channels, we have a lot of video up there showing a lot of that footage. I know it's not weather related, but still fun stuff to watch. This GIF graphic here shows you a little bit of what I'm talking about with these two storms. You can see the one in the front frame. That's the first frame there. That'll make its way up. That's the last frame there. So this is two separate systems that's going to come within a 3 to 4 day period, guys. So we're talking major flooding. Be prepared for this. I don't like telling people to go out and buy supplies and spend money they don't have, but just have those bare essentials that you're going to need if you can't make it to the store for a day or two. It's just better safe than sorry. That's the only way I could put it without telling you to go out and buy stuff, which I don't like to do. So now that we've gone through that, you can look at this chart and kind of get a better idea of why you see all these different colors. Like all these greens down here, these are all flooding colors. These are flood warnings, high wind warnings down by the east side of or west side of Texas, rather. This is all coming in from Mexico. That's what's also trailing in that moisture that's about to hit the middle of the country. We have the entire state of California covered in green. Same deal as this. These are all flood. These types of flood warnings. Sierra Nevada mountains covered in snow. Once again, every storm that passes over this area is adding more and more snow to the Sierra Nevadas, which will in turn melt, guys. We got to remember, we're going to have a melt when things start warming up. So that's a whole nother issue we're going to be dealing with in California. And then you see it skip a little bit. That's what the Sierra Nevada mountains do. It kind of like gives a little gap between the border of California and Nevada, and then you see the snow start again. It's almost like it rolls right over top of the mountain and then comes right back down, and then we get that snow in the northeast corner of Nevada, and that begins Winter Storm Taylor, as we spoke about. So with that said, guys, I think that's what I got for you. We got 200 frames of a mess here. You could barely even make out the U.S. with all the moisture going on. But just the basic idea of what's going on. The reds, when you see those reds, guys, those are severe storms. So now that's the type of season we're in now. We still have the purples and blues up in the northeast because it's freaking freezing. So any of that moisture that comes up this way is going to be snow, especially along that little hook that involves Long Island, Massachusetts, and then upstate New York. And then, of course, Vermont, New Hampshire, Maine, always in those cold zones. So let's see if we covered everything. Yep, Winter Storm Taylor. We talked about the avalanches in Colorado. This is devastating, guys. This will be a separate video too. Colorado, yet very used to snow, but not used to situations like this. That's just devastating. We spoke about the tornado threat coming up. Very important to keep an eye on that. We went over tropical tidbits and the mess that it's showing us. And besides that, we have our infrared loops we looked at, and then our water vapor chart showing the density of the water. Now, the more white you see, the more dense the moisture is, the more rain there's going to be. And you can kind of match that up to the temperature line, too. So if I go back to the temperature line, you can kind of see how right by Southern California, you can almost draw a straight line across the country. And then when we get back to that water vapor loop, you could see the water vapor kind of follows that line too. So a lot of that moisture that stays south is going to be flooding this area. Anything above it, it's going to be too cold. It's going to snow and it's going to freeze. So there we go. All four seasons at once at the same time. All right, I'm done talking now, guys. My voice hurts, but I will be back with another video and many more videos because this channel's never going anywhere. We appreciate every one of you guys, especially the loyal subs that have been talking to us the last couple days. We've had a lot going on. You guys know how it goes. It's life. Sometimes we just can't get on here. We're working full time, so we get on here when we can, guys. We love this. We love you guys, and you know, we're going to continue doing this every chance we get. So we'll be here as you guys need us. So again, feel free, #IntoFamily, if you want to submit any pictures or videos of anything crazy you witness out in the world. That is weather related, non-weather related. You see something flying in the sky, send it over to us. We would love to see it. That comes from Into Thin Air and at TypeX Files. You could find us both on Instagram, and you could find me on Twitter. Caroline does not have a Twitter. She has an Instagram and a YouTube. So, all right, guys, have a great night. I'll be back if anything significant happens. If not, then tomorrow is another day. Have a great night, guys.